Hi. Hi all, and welcome to our Erasmus Plus a Day event. My name is Professor Guido Tattoni, and I am the Dean of NABA, Nuova Accademia di Belle Arti, and today I'm going to introduce to you a project that we are making together with SAE Institute in Belgrade. I'm very excited to have the possibility to talk to you about what we are doing, because this project is very important for us for many different reasons. After me, many other people will talk and will present and demonstrate to you what we are doing and how. I'm only saying to you that this project is very important because it is about something that we care about very much. The field that we are exploring is the use of technology for the workplace workflow improvement. So we are using virtual studios and virtual environment to try to improve the dynamics of the workplace for several industries. We take inspirations from the industry of gaming and filmmaking and visual effects, but what we are trying to find can be adapted to other industries as well. So the partners with which we are doing this project are SAE Belgrade, who are participating with us, with their faculty. And after me, I will pass it on to Maria Koprivica-Lelikanin, who is the academic director of SAE Institute Belgrade. As for me, I thank you for your attention. I'm really sure you are going to enjoy this presentation from my colleagues and the people from SAE Belgrade, and I wish you a very good continuation of the event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Guido. I'm Maria Koprivica-Lelikanin, Campus Academic Coordinator from SAE Institute Belgrade. Together with us in front of the SAE Institute Belgrade is also our Professor Andrea Hamovic, who is our head of film department. And I'm also bringing warm greetings from our head of animation department, Professor Predrag Milošević, who was unable to attend today's meeting. I will actually present very shortly what the SAE is. I will tell you a little bit more about the SAE Institute Belgrade, and I will also tell you more about our project's goals. So SAE is the home of the creatives. That's what we like to say about ourselves. And for the last 40 years, actually, we deliver education in the domain of the creative media. There are more than 30 there are more than 50 actually campuses worldwide in more than 30 countries in the whole world. And the SAE Belgrade joined to this network in 2010. So the whole network, there are more than 10,000 students currently in the SAE Institute worldwide. And in the SAE Institute Belgrade, we actually run 4 main departments. There is an animation and game art, then film production, audio production, and web design and development. What is interesting for us is that all our lecturers and all our teachers are also industry professionals. So our curriculum is basically represents the current industry needs. Our program is delivered and validated by a UK university, by the UK University from Hertfordshire, and it means that everything we do is actually validated by this university. And at the end of their studies, our students obtain a BA or BAc degree from a UK university. Our program is delivered in different stages. There are 3 main levels, level 4, level 5, and level 6. It is also interesting that each of these levels is actually marked by a different pedagogic approach. So in the early beginning, our students are monitored more closely, and there is a strong focus on core skills and knowledge. But as they progress, they become more and more independent, and at level 5, we deliver their skills and knowledge through the project-based learning, where there is a strong focus also on peer-to-peer learning. And eventually, as they progress, level 6, we aim to obtain a high level of self-direction, self-dependency, which will be a core skill, transferable skill also in their future career. What is common to all these 3 levels is actually are some of the main key concepts, such as a strong hands-on approach and a practical approach in our educational delivery, technical mastery. We rely on industry connections, And also in everything we do, we apply the cutting edge technologies. So for everything that I just explained, we can conclude that the essay is not an average classroom. And that is actually the main common point that we shared with NABA, and that was the driving force for conceptualizing this project. The project is called Augmented Reality Multi-User Virtual Spaces. It is an Erasmus Plus project developed within the vocational education and training area. So it means that, in a nutshell, we bring the AR devices in the classroom. So any student will be able to add and to act physically on the surrounding environment. The whole project will last for the next 2 years. So the duration of the whole project is actually 24 months. And it will be delivered in different stages. The first stage is a research stage, followed by the virtual set building, then virtual set class experimentation, hybrid set building, hybrid set experimentation, and in the end, in the last month of the project, we will communicate the project results, and we will disseminate the main knowledge. Throughout the entire project, so through the entire duration of the project will be constantly monitored and constantly evaluated. So who are the main stakeholders in this project? First of all, the students. The students are always in the heart of everything we do. There will be more than or around 200 students involved from both sides. 20 of them are disadvantaged students. All of them are between 18 and 25 years old. The faculty on another side is the second, of course, stakeholder. So around 14 teachers from both sides will be involved. And the last but not the least are the companies, so from the industry. And the role of the industry here is actually double. First of all, we take industry's input as stimuli for simulations that then we will deliver in our classrooms. And also at the end, the industries will also represent, hopefully, the final and entry point for our students once they start their career. When it comes to the main objectives of our project, the main objective of the project is that we will design multi-user virtual spaces in which each online student can physically act on the surrounding environment. And basically, there will be two main goals. The first goal is a so-called teaching or didactic goal. We will adapt virtual production techniques and technologies to teaching. So we will define new ways of interaction between lecturers and students through various transformations of labs, classrooms, and film studios into multi-user virtual spaces. But at the same time, there is another goal, which is a more professional, career-oriented goal. Our students will actually understand what virtual production is, how it works, what are its main technologies, and necessary skills. So when it comes to the priorities and topics, the main priority is basically to adapt vocational education and training to labor market needs and to contribute to innovation in vocational education and training. So to summarize everything that I've been presenting so far, our project concerns the experimentation of augmented reality devices in the classroom. Our objective is to design multi-user virtual spaces in which each online student can physically act on the surrounding environment. And we would like to establish some best practices to explore the use of digital skills and competences. So we aim to structure a new teaching methodology using, of course, augmented reality, but also involving blended, hybrid, and flipped modalities that will be then applicable both in web and in the job market. Thank you very much. This was a very short presentation of our project, and now I'm passing the word to my colleagues from NABA that will tell you more about the technical side of the project and the pedagogic side of the project itself. Thank you very much.
To share with you and to show you what we are doing here. And in this lab. This lab is a virtual studio laboratory. It means that here we are able to make a research and development about the virtual production. Well, I started designing this lab 2 years ago with a fantastic crew of teachers and students, game developers, 3D artists, concept artists, animators, and so on. Well, please, could you? Okay, well. Here you can see a little bit more what we are doing here and which are the technologies that we have here. Today, I will try to explain you what are LED volumes, motion capture systems, virtual cameras, and how to control all these elements in real time and sometimes on set and sometimes remotely. Well, but step by step. In this lab, our focus is about research and development, as I said before. Our focus is about the CGI in real time. And we use these technologies and we explore these techniques not only for the audio and video project, but also for live streaming and for other fields of interest. Well, but what is it, virtual production? Because here you can see some big screens. The correct name is LED volume, and there are some red points. These red points are infrared cameras that are able to help us to track and analyze the movements of rigid bodies and human bodies. Usually you can say, so this is a classical motion capture optical systems. We are able to control these images because we have a very powerful brain bar, and to do that we use a software that usually you use to develop video game. This software, this engine is Unreal Engine. Well, but step by step. Okay, when we talk about the virtual production, we think about in-camera visual effects. What does it mean? Think about sci-fi movies. Well, usually the actor during the shootings are in a green screen, and after the shooting you delete the green and you add the digital and virtual environment. Well, now, is it possible to have all the VFX and a good part of the VFX directly on set? To do that, we need to replace the green screen with LED volumes, with this kind of big screen. Then, to simulate the correct perspective and the 3D perception, we have to do two things. One thing is that we have to analyze and control the position and movement of the camera, and then we have to realize in real time the frames that we need. Okay. Well, as I said before, to analyze the position of the camera, we can use a motion capture system. Here we have an optical motion capture system. We have an OptiTrack model, and and to do that we use, as I said before, the cameras, but we need also some specific shape. Could you change the camera, please, Leonardo? Okay, as you can see here, I have a specific shape with some dots. With the camera that you saw before, we connected to the computer, to the system. We are able to understand the position and eventually the movement of these objects. Well, this is the same technique that usually you use when you want to analyze the movement of a human body, for example, with this kind of suite. This one. Okay, this is Camilla, our mascot. Okay, yeah, we are nerds, so we use a lot of names for all the things that we have here. Well, I'm joking. I'm so sorry. Well, this shape is also on the camera, and when we move the camera, we are able to change a part of the LED that you can see on the background. Well, I'm asking to Professor Maggiolo to move the camera. Please, Leonardo, change. Okay. Now, as you can see here, we are moving the camera, and some parts of this image change a little bit. Why? Because in this case, only some parts of the LED images are able to change with the correct perspective. In that way, we are able to simulate a 3D environment. Well, but why we don't change all the images on that LED or the LED on the ceiling? Because we use the LED not only to create the correct background, the virtual images, the virtual environments, but we use that instrument, the tools, also for the lights. Well, to explain you exactly what I mean, or what I'm trying to do, I have this kind of objects, and for me this one is something like a Harry Potter magic wand. Well, we just connected virtually this wand with a light, and if I move this object, I'm able to change also the position of an element. As you can see. Okay? So in this case, I'm changing the light directly with my real movement without using mouse or keyboard. I'm using my body. And this part is crucial for our research, and I will explain you why next steps. Well, in this case, we are not using external lights, but we are using directly our LED. It means that we created virtual lights, and we are able to move the virtual lights with a physical object. Well, this is important because one of the crucial key points of the virtual production is that we are able to use our body to control digital environments or digital elements. And well, you know, we are humans, so it means that we are not only in our brain. Also, our boundaries are not only about our head, but we are. So it means that we think, but also we act. No, we play. And in this case, the experience and the skills that we have with our bodies are crucial to create interesting experience. Think about, for example, an old operator with a good skill with an old video camera. If you are able to simulate a real camera with a virtual camera, you can use the skills that you developed in the past to create something new. What does it mean? Just a moment. I have another tool that I want to show you. I need to switch on it. Sorry, it means that I need time. And just a moment. It's connecting. While. Okay. This one is a virtual camera. What does it mean, virtual camera? It means that here, as you can see, there are our dots for our balls for the motion captures. For the motion capture, here we have wireless communication with these elements and the computer, and this one is a monitor, okay? Well, I'm using these to explore my virtual world. Well, now I'm moving in my virtual environment, and okay. Now what you are seeing is exactly the virtual environment that I'm exploring with my physical body. In this case, as I said before, I'm not using mouse, I'm not using keyboards or other digital tools. Okay, as you can see here, you can see the environment that we are using for this presentation. Okay, why using this kind of tools is important? Because, for example, the shape and the tools are very common on set. So it means that all the people can use this kind of devices without having experience in virtual production, because these are classical instruments that usually used for on set. It's true, in this case there's no camera, but there are motion capture and monitor. Well, but which is the difference in between these and this one? Actually, there are no differences. What does it mean? It means that if I am, for example, in my room or in another office, and I want to control, I want to explore a digital environment that other people are making, I can use also my smartphone to explore the virtual environment. Why? Because in our smartphones, for example, there are a lot of sensors that are able to understand, for example, the position and the rotation of our device. Well, we are able to connect these with our system, and we can use our physical experience that usually we have when we want to take pictures or make a movie with our smartphone. Well, it's the same. The point is that we are not able to see in our screen the real environment, but the virtual environments. Well, why I'm talking about LED walls and virtual cameras? Why I'm talking about physical experience and digital environments? Because one of the key points of the virtual production is the extended reality. For extended reality, the extended reality is the connection in between the real world and the digital world, two in one. No? Well, if we are able to create a real world and a digital copy of the real world, we are able, with this kind of technology, to create a strong connection and some actions and reaction in between these two different environments. This is important because if we are able to control some real elements, something like the light that I showed before, with digital instruments, with digital tools, it means that we can work with two different crews. One is on set, another one is in another place, in another country, okay, another part of the world. Well, it's true, I'm talking about jobs or set, but I think that it's the same when we are in our classrooms. Because after two years, because the COVID, we need to develop new tools to create new relationship in between us and the students. And now we need to create new connections with the people that are in our campus or the people that are in another campus. For example, with our partner for this project with WISI Institute. Well, it's possible. It's possible because we have the tools to create this kind of connections. And is it possible because with the virtual production, we are able not only to create this kind of physical connection, but we are able also to change the pipeline to create the digital environments. It means that we are able to create a multi-users experience. We can use the same file working all together. Doesn't matter if we are in the same lab or not, in the same computer or not. Well, there are a lot of steps, and there are a lot of tools that we have to develop. This is the first step. We started with the LED volumes and with the stagecraft. Now we are working on the clouds part about the connection with people, the multi-user, and of course the repository for the files that our students will develop next month and next years. Well, it's a very complex project because this technology is completely new. We have a lot of things that we have to, a lot of bugs that we have to fix, a lot of elements that we have to explore, a lot of techniques and technologies that we have to improve. But we are in a correct way. There are not a lot of universities that now are working with virtual production pipeline and into the virtual production studios. We are the first one in all of Europe. Well, we are exploring, and we will share with you online all the steps that we will realize in next month. Well, I leave the floor to my colleague Andrea Maggiolo, and to present another part of our project. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, and well, welcome on my part as well. I'm Andrea Maggiolo. I am the course leader for the bachelor degree in creative technologies here at NABA. And actually my work here, and related to this project as well, is to work with the lecturers and the students in order to find the best way to deliver new knowledge. So we explore new programs, new study paths, new courses, and as well we try, as any academy does in any course of study, to build a little bit of knowledge, of conscience about the topics that we treat in class. But this is not just about content. To coordinate, to have a leadership of a learning experience, it's also something about finding the good ways or the best ways to deliver that content. And there's no fixed recipe for this. There's many tools, many different approaches, many techniques that we can use actually to engage students and to have them experience a certain degree of practical knowledge or theoretical knowledge that it is. So you can move across a complete course of study and try out different ways of learning. The classic ones are, well, you know, you have the teacher in class, the so-called frontal lecture. So you have the teacher explaining things and sometimes getting a little bit boring because you're sitting there in your chair with other 300 students and you're not really engaged by what's happening at that moment, at that precise moment in class. Then you can go into more project-oriented or practical-oriented classes. So you can work in small groups or in a smaller class, like 15 people, to solve an issue that is something tangible and concrete that you can apply in your studies. Or you can go full project work. So your project is your learning environment and your learning objective. And in this situation, you have to look for the right tools to deliver a good class and also to ensure a good understanding in the students. And we strongly believe that the tools and the techniques and the technologies that are used nowadays in virtual production in cinema, like LED volumes or virtual cameras or real-time rendering, performance capture and so on, can be tools for learning and to enable people to learn. At the beginning of his talk, Professor Lelicani told you about the numbers of this project, the number of students involved, the number of lecturers involved. Let's stop for a second and, yeah, we are getting into this experience a lot of people, but it's something that can scale up and can be of interest for much more people. Think just about that, just in the art sections in the universities in Europe, there's more than 800,000 students, only in Europe. So 800 and more thousand people that can enjoy learning through technology. And this means as well that you can try to find ways to learn from afar. For example, you can have students participating in the same project or in the same practical activity or in the same class activity from, well, in our case, Belgrade and Milan, but it can be from Norway and Spain and Bogota and New York at the same time. So the concept is try to understand how technology can impact the learning and how remote learning can be something better than what we experienced when we were forced to do it a couple of years back. Many of these approaches to training and to teaching came from the forced lockdowns in Europe due to the COVID-19 crisis. So we found ourselves locked away from the class, from the students. We couldn't have physical relationships anymore with the things we used every day in learning. And that need exacerbated what we already knew that was needed, different ways to interact with students and to interact with the class and with technology. Part of this project is born in that context, and the first experiments done here in NABA are coming from that experience. And the idea is also to be able to say, okay, we don't want that kind of experience anymore. That kind of learning platform doesn't work. You can move on Zoom as many classes as you want, but if you can't interact, you can't really learn things. And in this point of view, it's something that can be extended not only in academic environments like NABA or SAE Institute, but also in vocational training. Think about giving a chance to a young boy or a young girl, barely 19, in Japan, who wants to understand and to interact with, I don't know, a sculptor who lives in Florence, for example, or to allow people from afar to learn how to rebuild the engine of a car. These are all things that can be done possibly using virtual environments, both digital and physical at the same time. We're not saying that we will get to that point exactly in a couple of years. It's a long, long road, but the aim is that, the direction we are trying to take and the direction that learning is trying to take, not just here, but in our institution as well, is to find new ways to create interaction with the students. And the main focus is to have a better class and a better experience for everyone, students and teachers at the same time. it's really important in this approach to learning and teaching to consider as well the fact that there is no more fixed separation between the learner and the teacher, but it's something that is done together. You, learner, bring your own knowledge, your own expectations, your abilities into the class, and the lecturer, the teacher, is able to interact with them and help you maximize on your knowledge and experience. Practical learning is great in doing so, and technology is an instrument to, let's say, hyper pimp up, like, you know, when you pimp up a car and it's so fast that you can reach 180 in 6 seconds or something like that. Okay, technology is the same thing for learning. You can learn faster and learn better and learn also above what's sometimes your physical limit. We have to consider as well that remote learning and the so-called digitally mediated learning or web-mediated learning, or, well, there are many different terms to define it, is something that is doable also for people who has partial problems in mobility, for example, or as a fixed inability to reach specific places. So we can really try to find ways to revolutionize some ways of learning. And the cool thing is that the same tools, the same ways can be afterwards brought into the industry. So what is now an experiment about learning and teaching can tomorrow be a tool that the same people who are learning it now can apply in their professional life. And that's the second level of, the second edge of this kind of approach, of this kind of technology, that you always study, you always work on something that is brand new, and you develop today the skills that you need tomorrow. And you have experience with them. It's not just theoretical experience, theoretical knowledge. It's practical, hands-on experience, even if you can't be there physically, you can't be there at the moment. I don't want to go any further. I pass the stage to Andrea Hamovic from SAE Belgrade, who is going to present you some aspects more related to work aspects and industry aspects of this project. To you.
Andrea, thank you very much. Hi everyone. It's really a pleasure and a challenge to be among this esteemed group of academics and professors. I would just use the opportunity to thank both Guido Tattoni and Maria Coprivica-Lelicin from the academic aspect and presentation of the project and the flow that we will be all following, as well as Emanuele Lomello and Andrea Mangiello, professors from NABA, for the in-depth overview and clarification of everything that we heard so far. My name is Andrea Hamovic. I'm head of film department at SAE Institute Belgrade. And as a person deeply attached and involved with the process of filmmaking and creation of film, I'm the one being constantly challenged by the evolution of the production processes. And I'm insisting on the term evolution because whatever the change is coming up just around the corner is the first following one to upgrade the language, upgrade the grammar, upgrade and elevate the options and possibilities for us as filmmakers to express ourselves and to create even further. Everything that my colleagues mentioned before is a part of that game. Film language and film standards, film production process is strongly established and firmly set almost a century ago. And in terms of some basic operations and stages of the development of the film, it pretty much remained the same. But technological innovation and evolution of specific tools and gadgets that we have in our hands nowadays made the whole thing much more dynamic, proactive, and interactive. And I guess proactive and interactive are the keywords that are reflecting the importance and the quality of this project in terms of application of all of these pipelines and workflows which derive from the industry itself. LED screens, virtual backlots, virtual cameras, all of these are tools and elements incorporated into a production process for 6-7 years now, and they are utilized in everyday production on certain levels of film industry. Yet what this project is all about and what makes it extremely interesting and challenging for all of us, just as Andrea mentioned, us as mentors and lecturers, beside all of the inevitable challenges that we faced over past couple of years, we are challenged as well with any given innovation which is deriving from our skill set and our basic skill set and our environment of industry engagement. And all of these that my colleagues mentioned are exactly those. These are pipelines and workflows established within the industry, and we are going to challenge them, and we are going to tackle them, and we are going to do our best to implement them and involve them in a process of teaching and learning and building completely new and original learning paths for our students to follow, making basically these first batches of students, the very first one, as far as SE Institute Belgrade goes, making those batches of students the very first ones with the idea of these options not being only set and presented and referred to as theoretical options to explore down the line professionally. No, we are going to engage them on our daily basis here within our classrooms, and they're going to be the first generation of students starting with that kind of implementation of something which was treated as theoretical knowledge and theoretical research so far. So that makes this project even more important and even more fruitful potentially. Couple of stages, as Professor Maria mentioned, are ahead of us. Couple of stages are behind us as well. NABA University and the whole team in Milan did their best to establish the virtual lot and to establish the virtual studio and to make it fully functional and operational. And that is a milestone for us to be extremely proud of and to enjoy and exploit in its full capacity. Specific sets of experimentation and testing will be done and delivered, primarily aiming towards the idea of multi-users and interaction remotely, as previously mentioned. And that is the place where we are potentially looking forward to growth, data and information, and after all, some sort of proof or evidence, if and to which extent these technologies and these methods that we are looking forward to are applicable and actually are effective in our classrooms and in our curriculum delivery. Data sheets will be developed. Industry standards applied will be explored and clarified. There are a whole bunch of standards for us to meet and to follow down the line in terms of compatibility, in terms of capacity of certain hardware from here to interact with a certain pieces of hardware over there. But nevertheless, as I said, all of these are industry standards, well known. We are there to try to and do our best to challenge these workflows and to establish new pipelines of our own for the sake and for the purpose of making our classes far more interactive, but not only in terms of a specific exchange which is happening within the classroom itself, which is the primary, which is the essence of the learning and teaching experience. No, we are going to ask from ourselves and the students as well to reach out for more and to test themselves and to challenge themselves into completely new sets of teamwork. Teamwork is maybe a keyword number 2 because it reflects directly towards the essence of filmmaking. Filmmaking is teamwork, and a number of sets, number of departments, number of collaborators, number of creative contributors are working alongside, and that is the only way to push the production forward. This kind of a treatment and these processes that we briefly described rely heavily on collaboration and interaction. So I'm deeply inspired and positively challenged with everything which is ahead of us, and I'm extremely looking forward to first following step and some sort of practical implementation and experimentation, basically, which is a rare opportunity from the position of a mentor or an instructor or a professor to experiment with how you're going to deal with the classroom is a bit of a tricky place, but this project is providing us with this specific capacity and opportunity, which I'm really looking forward to embrace in its full capacity. I'm proud of the idea that I'm a part of this team of creative people and innovators in a way, working on the same goal. And I can just invite all of the public and industry as well to follow us down the line and down the path of this exciting and productive journey. That would be all from me at this initial stage. Everything that follows will be treated in much more detail and data, I guess. But for the moment, I guess it's everything that we could offer in terms of presenting and kicking off this project of ours.
Well, thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Maria.
We are now all together here to close this presentation. I wanted to personally thank everybody who brought a little bit of their experience, of their position, of their point of view on the project here today. We just began this journey together. It will be a really long journey together, and I'm confident that will be a great experience for both us and our students, and hopefully at the end of it also for the industry, and a chance to disseminate some experiments and some knowledge that, of course, as also Andrea said just a moment before, are not easy to do, and you don't always have that much chance to try out things like this. So thank you all. Thank you also to everybody who has been connected with us today, and see you at the next step that will happen sooner or later, hopefully sooner, in which we are going to show you something more of the project that we are building and working on. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you very much.